Good morning. It is 10:27 a.m. on Saturday, April 8th, 2017. I'm Christiana Ellis and today's my birthday. This is 5 more minutes. I don't know what I want to say about birthdays necessarily. I mean, I'm not especially I've always kind of been a little bit resistant to the idea that you treat things very differently just based on the passage of a day, meaning like what's really different for me today? Nothing really. I mean, it's kind of the same reason I tend to be resistant to the idea of doing New Year's resolutions and that sort of thing. But just the same, having a birthday be something like to take the opportunity to consider what has happened for the last year, and so like that sort of thing is reasonable. Got a little dog behind me. Uh, so I'm not like opposed to the idea that a birthday could be a fun thing and that you do something fun on your birthday. But, at the same time, like, I'm not going to get all poetic and angsty about, like, ooh, what does being 1 year older mean to me? I don't know, not much. I sort of have some vague plans that might involve going to a movie and or dinner with whoever can make it on the short notice that I invited. So who knows what that's going to be. It's definitely a point of that I should recognize of if I want to have actual plans, I need to make them in more advance because when I give people no notice. See, there can be this whole thing where it's a mutually fulfilling cycle that if I don't give anyone enough notice, then nobody can make it. But then that's the reason that nobody made it, right? Um, but whatever. I went to see Get Out yesterday and thought it was really good. I took off work a little bit early and went to see it. It's super creepy. It's very well made. It's just like it just it goes in smooth, like like I don't know, like the metaphor that was coming to mind is like being stabbed with a scalpel. It goes in smooth. I don't know where that came from, because but the point is that the storytelling just works. It draws you in. It builds steadily. Gets super creepy. It's an interesting original idea. The acting is good. It's very good. I recommend it. It is one of those movies where lots of times there's an encouragement to say, well, try to not know anything about it if possible. And even though I've talked before on these videos about how not thinking spoilers are as big a deal as some people do. Just the same, the there's if you are already potentially interested in seeing it, then you can do so while having some things be a surprise for you. And I think that that will be probably the best way to see it. But just the same, I would not say at all that if you were spoiled, that would mean that it's not worth seeing. Because that's the flip side to that thing. Whenever someone says try to see it without knowing anything about it, and then you find out something about it, and then you say, well, I guess I've ruined it for myself now. Won't bother, and that's silly. That's the part that's silly. If you want to keep things as a surprise for yourself, that's fair. Anyway, I really liked it. I've been trying to decide what to do with the rest of my day before whatever happens later, and it's it's a dilemma, right? Because you can put pressure on yourself. It's like, well, it has to be special somehow, right? As opposed to just like, well, what do I feel like doing right now? Do I have to put effort into doing something special, even if all I really feel like doing is sitting and playing more video games? Because I'm getting close to finishing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's definitely at the point where I'm just deciding, like, well, okay, how much do I feel like I want to do before finishing, going to finish the main story? So I kind of feeling inclined right now that that's maybe what I want to do is to try to finish Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild today. So I think that's probably what I'm going to try to do. And then later, a movie. We're going to see who shows up and who's seen what and who wants to see what. So I'm not sure what movie it'll be, but there are definitely several that I'm interested in still seeing. Logan, Kong Skull Island, Colossal just came out. There's an anime that's getting super positive buzz called Your Name that I think just came out yesterday. I'm not totally opposed to seeing the Ghost in the Shell remake, even though the reviews suggest to me that they've kind of taken out a lot of the elements that I found the most interesting and kind of made the plot kind of generic, which is a bummer. But, you know, it still looks pretty. And so there's several movies that I might see. We'll see how that goes. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes. And it's Sunday, of course, so that means it will be time to continue rewatch of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I will talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.